Hello everybody, Con from Carlist here on a beautiful sunny day here in Dresden, Germany. Behind me, very special assignment, the all-new Honda Civic Type R.
The Civic Type R has been around for 20 years, and what the badge stands for should indeed require no further introduction. This latest version is codenamed FK8 and is the first Civic Type R to be built for a global audience. So for once, a JDM Civic Type R and UK spec Civic Type R will actually mean the same thing. The FK8 Civic Type R is based on the hatchback version of the current Civic FC model and will not be offered with a sedan body. It's not coming from Japan either. Honda will centralize production of the FK8 at the United Kingdom, from which it will be exported to markets across the world, including Japan. Brexit has come at a very bad time for Honda indeed. So, what does the new Civic Type R have to offer? Let's start with looks.
Now, if you have a taste for subtle looking cars, right, this is probably not your cup of tea. As you can see, there are plenty of very loud styling features. There are 2 spoilers, there are 3 exhaust pipes, and air vents to rival a Nissan GTR.
There is, of course, method in the seeming madness of Honda's design, and it is related to aerodynamics. Vents at the fender direct air around the wheels like a curtain, minimizing turbulence, and those sharp protrusions at the trailing edge of the roof, spoilers, diffusers, even the tiny flick-ups at the edge of the front splitter and side sills are all placed there to increase downforce. Underneath the vehicle, strategically placed covers help minimize undercarriage drag. Overall, Honda claims to have further maximized high-speed downforce on the Type R while reducing overall drag coefficient by 3% over the previous gen UK spec FK2 Type R.
A lot of people have been talking about the Type R's 3 exhaust configuration. What does it do? Simply put, the middle pipe, okay, at low to mid RPMs, the middle pipe lets the exhaust air gases out, so it's supposed to create a more sporty sounding ground. Whereas at high RPMs, the middle pipe has a negative pressure which sucks air back into the pipe. So what Honda claims that it does is that it helps cancel out unpleasant resonant noises at high engine speeds. So it sort of like gives you the best of both worlds. But the best part of it is that all this trickery is done without a single moving component.
We'll refrain from passing judgment on the car's appearance, but one thing's for sure, it looks anything other than bland or anonymous. In fact, even standing still, this car looks loud. So if you've come from the regular Civic FC, this cabin should be a very familiar looking place to you. Of course, there are these extra red highlights here all over to give that Type R feel. But the overall layout and architecture is taken straight from the regular Civic FC. Of course, in place of the regular automatic gear shifter that we are familiar with, we get this manual gear, 6-speed manual gear knob, a this little Type R plate here, and also this drive mode selection that allows you to choose between 3 drive modes: Comfort, Sport, and Plus R. Now, the interesting thing about the Civic Type R is that when you start up, the system defaults to Sport mode, okay, instead of Comfort. So this gives you a bit of a hint as to how Honda calibrated the overall characteristics of this vehicle. Okay. Other points of differentiation: sports bucket seats here, as you can see, gives you extra lateral support around corners. The instrument cluster is identical, is more or less similar to what we see in the regular Civic FC, of course in red highlights and with extra features such as a lap timer, a turbo boost meter, and also a G-force meter. So it all in, it is a familiar cabin given an extra taste of sportiness. Before we talk about the driving experience, we should remind viewers that because we never received the FK2 Type R in our market, the FK8 is actually a 2-generation leap from the last Civic Type R officially sold in Malaysia, the FD2R. Okay, now one of the things that I remember most fondly about the Civic FD2R was the short and precise throws of its manual gearbox. This one, obviously, it still carries on the fine Honda tradition of making sweet to shift manual transmissions that never fail to delight the driver. Now,
for this Civic Type R, Honda added this feature called rev matching. So if you are not familiar with blipping the throttle or heel and toe downshifting, this feature comes in very, very handy. In fact, I myself, as someone who is accustomed to using heel and toe and also blipping the throttle myself, I find this incredibly useful because right now we are in a left-hand drive car. I'm having to acclimatize to driving on the wrong side of the vehicle, changing gears with an unfamiliar hand. So having the car do the throttle blipping for me means that I have one less thing to worry about in my process of acclimatizing to this car. And to be honest, for most of the time, this system is extremely on the ball. Alright, so let me give you an example. Okay, right now I am cruising along at third gear. Clutch in, put down to second. Now as my gear lever enters the second gate, that is when the throttle blips. So it will not mistakenly blip the throttle for you when you upshift. Right? So let's see, like let me repeat this example. Now that when I'm going from second, so allow me to repeat this example. Now that I'm shifting from second to third, the throttle does not blip itself. Now, what if you already have that habit of blipping the throttle and doing your heel and toe down changes already? No problem. Just carry on with what you're doing because the car recognizes your little throttle input. It will just allow you to do so. So for skilled drivers, this feature does not impact on your driving experience. Now, of course, another major difference between this new Type R and then the previous FD2R is that this car runs a 2-liter turbo engine, whereas the old FD2 had a 2-liter naturally aspirated engine that was renowned for being very peaky in its power delivery. This one, typical of modern turbocharged direct injection engines, gives you a very wide spread of torque across the rev range. So at any gear, at any RPM, you just floor the accelerator pedal, you have very decent levels of acceleration. Of course, you get even more kick when you downshift. But let's say if you are feeling lazy, you're pulling along at 6th gear, maybe 2,000 or 3,000 RPMs on the clock, just floor it. The car will pick up speed at a very, very respectable rate. Traditionally, the Civic Type R has always been very capable track day machines, but the recent FD2R that we remember is a little too hard-edged for the road. This one, well, as we can see earlier in the video, was very capable on track, but the scope of abilities has been widened sufficiently that this car acclimatizes well on the road as well. Now, of course, there's that booming noise from the engine bay, unavoidable because of this car's sporting positioning. But more importantly, the ride quality is actually pretty decent. Even right now, we set the car in sport mode. The suspension copes very well with all the uneven patches of road, way better than the FD2R would have. I would say that on a road like this, the old FD2R would absolutely have rattled your bones. This one just traverses it across with no less degree of comfort than you would expect from the regular Civic. And this is despite the fact that the Type R runs on 20-inch wheels with low-profile tires. In summary, I would say that Honda has not only made the new Type R better than ever, it has made the car a far better all-rounder than its predecessor was. This car is now equally at home on track and also a very usable, very competent day-to-day driver. It's not the best, but it is very, very usable. Now I'm riding shotgun with Encik Akbar Daniel from Honda Malaysia. Akbar, say hi to our audience.
Hi.
So, Akbar, bringing the car into Malaysia or not?
First question, suddenly you ask that question. Don't wanna give me.
Hey, come on. I know. You see, I'm not asking for myself. I'm asking for all the Civic Type R fans that you have in Malaysia.
I did answer you yesterday again. I think kat Malaysia tu bumper, speed bump, banyak and whatever not, right? So is it suitable enough for this car?
Well, I think what we'll do is maybe we will wait for when we put up this video on Facebook and YouTube. Let's see the comments.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Let's see what are the feedback from the public, whether they want this car or macam mana.
The interest of this car in Malaysia is very high.
It is. I think last time we introduced this car in 2007 kan.
The FD2R,
FD2R.
Yeah.
It was selling like hotcakes basically. You know, you don't need to do a lot of what do you call that, activities or even promotion for the money. The car will sell on its own. Because there are followers over there.
Yeah, correct. I think you had no problems selling off your allocation at the time. But this one, now that this Civic Type R is being made in the UK, so does it present an extra challenge for you to bring that car into Malaysia?
Well, the thing is that there are pro and cons to Alligator. You know, consolidation of production in one place will give a better, I think, scale of economics in
economic of scale. Correct.
Economic of scale, but knowing currently our cars are mainly currently the car that we are selling in Malaysia is basically 100% or 99% except for DC that we do CKD. But Japan we have Jamaica, so you know, if we import the car, so we will have the tax exemption for that. But for Europe, it's going to be that'll be one of the big
ini tak boleh EV lah.
Yang ni bukan EV punya kereta lah kan. And then other than that, exchange rate lah satu lagi kan, kalau nak bawa tu agak challenging lah kan.
But well, I'm sure if you bring this car to Malaysia, there will be enough tickets.
Well, hopefully, let's see what's your Facebook posting going to be like.
So, what do you think? Would you like to see the Honda Civic Type R here in Malaysia? Whether it's Facebook, YouTube, on our website, drop a line at the comment section and tell us, and we can pass the message to Honda Malaysia. If you have not watched it, there's also another video of our track time at the Lawsits Ring in the all-new Civic Type R. To know more about the Civic Type R, read its full review on Carlist.my. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.